today was pretty tough. I won't lie, because this was the first of many really tough crossroads that we're going to encounter moving forward. Because it's like with people you genuinely do like, right? Like, Katie is honestly amazing. Like, I love her a lot. She's really cool and really great to talk to. Like, she has great stories. So it's really sad that, you have to vote out someone you do like, But yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, I think everyone was in agreement that, she was too much of a wild card. A lot of things were very uncertain, and I felt like people were comfortable moving forward with less uncertainty in the game. She was a little chaotic. And yeah, I mean, she made for great TV. But I think everyone was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm very sad that it had to be her tonight, but overall, I am very concerned about where I stand still. Like, I know, my perceived alliance is strong, but anything can change day to day, right? So I am very worried because I did hear my name thrown out there, and I heard Mariana's name thrown out there with mine. And I know that Carl threw our names out there. And so, I definitely don't trust him as much as I thought I would after Rendezvous yesterday. So I think I'm a little concerned about him. What else? I mean, like, I'm glad I freaking finally talked to Joshua. Like, that man is so hard to get a hold of. But overall, I like his vibe. He seems pretty genuine. I mean, like, everyone at this point seems pretty genuine. It's just, like, gonna be really tough to move forward and, like, keep playing the game, It's tough. Also, I want to say for the record, I hate it when docs ask me questions because I genuinely cannot remember timelines. So if he asks me a question about something that happened earlier today at base camp, and I say it happened last night, I literally don't remember when it happened. I'm just saying, like, things happened. I don't know. It's been a tough week. I cannot keep, times and days in my personal life straight. Like, how am I going to keep it straight in this competition? So, for the record, not a fan of the questioning because I just don't remember anything anymore. I have, like, mush brain. It's not cool. But yeah, definitely worried because, I don't know. I have not felt safe in the game. Because, like, I genuinely thought tonight would be, like, a blind side kind of thing. Like, it could have been anyone. I'm glad that we all rallied together and made it a unanimous decision. So that did, bring up the vibes a little bit. But, I mean, it's always sad to see someone you do like go. But I think this, like, reignited some trust that we had with our alliances. So that's good news. But it's also concerning because it's like, does everyone trust everyone? I don't know. It's tough. Also, there is a compass out there. I tried looking for it, and I was too late. And I don't know who has it, but I'll tell you this. It must be Mariana or Haley. And the only reason I suspect Haley is because she said that when Philip said something about the snow day, like, she went on Instagram looking for the compass, and, she said she wasn't able to find it. But I think she did. And I think, that message, like, that thing that Philip said was so cryptic that I didn't even understand what he was saying until looked at the clue myself and tried to find it myself. And so I just wouldn't have picked it up that, like, oh, you have to go searching on Instagram or whatever. Like, that, I don't know. I feel like she has it. Because, like, I don't know. Felt weird. But, hey, I'm not going after her, so we'll see how this all plays out. It'd be nice to know, like, how to get them, honestly. Like, yesterday was the first time I ever, like, learned how compasses work. And, like, that people had several parts of them, or, like, a whole one. And then today I'm figuring out more and more how they work. So I'm like, huh? People are, like, you know, having advantages. Like, dude, throw me a bone. Like, I don't know. I just want to feel safe for once. I guess we will never feel safe in this game, but, like, come on. Where's the compass? For me. Not a fan. Hashtag not a fan. That's all I have to say.
What's up, y'all? And welcome to another edition of Carl's Confessionals. Alright, first off, cheers, girl. Katie, this drink's for you. That was probably the hardest vote of this game for me. I really like Katie. I just couldn't steer the vote any other way. Also, it looked like the whole party was unified for that. So, I mean, that looks good. There was a big skirmish in Crossroads between Katie and David, and I kind of thought about it, and I kind of like keeping David around because David, you know, he looks like a villain. He looks like, you know what I mean? Again, somebody I might be able to hide behind a little bit, and probably someone that'll get 0 votes at the end. So probably someone I might want to think about dragging with me if I can make it that far. And I do like where I'm sitting right now. Unless I'm misreading everything, I feel like I'm in a good spot. I have a good thing with Josh. Chicken and waffles, baby. You know, and then you got me, Josh, and Mike. I have a good thing with Olivia. Danielle feels really good with me, I think. Mariana, believe it or not, you know, I kind of like her. Bambi, I'm starting to get to know her. She's really cool. And David is someone I think that, you know, I feel like Katie is going to influence the jury a little bit. And if you brought him with you, he wouldn't get any votes. I mean, not that he's not a good dude, because he's a great dude, but Katie already painted that picture. So I may not have won any exemption challenges yet, but I do think I am the freaking architect in all this. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I am completely delusional, or maybe I'm just a king. Oh, King Carl.
That was brutal. That was really brutal. After having my name out there strongly last week, Cat, I really wanted to kind of do some damage control, rebuild relationships, have a very low-key week. Like, my whole goal going into today was like, I was going to throw the challenge. I'm not saying I could have won it anyhow, but I was definitely like waiting until like everyone else answered before I answered. I did not want to get on the leaderboard. I did not want to get 5th. I just didn't want to stick out, you know, today. That was my whole goal, is like, don't stick out. Just be a loyal number and, you know, just build some relationships, rely on your social game. Because, you know, if I can't survive on my social game for a couple days, then, you know, I don't really deserve to be here. And That was kind of my challenge to myself. It's like, even though I'm competitive, I'm not really going to give it my all in the challenges. I just want to blend into the background. And I did anything but blend into the background today. So obviously yesterday I played the compass for myself because I had a lot of votes coming my way. I talked to Katie beforehand and just let her know that I was in trouble, and asked her if she'd be okay with me playing the compass, and she's just trying to convince me, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. But like, I had talked to enough people, I knew I wasn't fine. I knew it was going to be close. And had Bambi voted the way that was planned with her group, it would have been a split vote between me and Philip. And I kept on thinking Philip had a compass. So, I thought last night could easily be my last night without a compass. And, in this game, people frequently play compasses to protect their allies. And I thought I was Katie's closest ally, and I thought she would be okay with me playing it for me. I thought I had her permission, and I even asked her at Crossroads if I could play it, and she told me that to do what I needed to do. I offered it back to her, and I know she doesn't believe me. I know she doesn't, and I was really wrestling with this about what to do, because Katie had me playing with my heart a lot more than I expected, just because that's who she is. She was playing so personally. She was playing so heart-based, so gut-based, that it wrecks me for days when I personally hurt someone. And I really wanted to do right by her, even in this game, which is a cutthroat game. It just is, which was so hard, why being aligned with her, it was so hard, because, I don't think she fully realized, the game that we were playing. And even though we're all friends, like, we're all prepared to stab each other in the back. That's what Expedition Online is. You have to get past everyone to get to Final Ascent. That's the game. And I really meant it when I said that I would give it back to her at Crossroads. I did. And I understand it's like, it's a high pressure situation to put that on someone, and it puts a big target on her if I just openly give it back. But, if I went home for doing that, I would be at peace with that, because I did have too much respect for Katie to just sorry, you messed up. It's mine now forever. So I don't want to be a scumbag in a game, outside of a game. And I thought I played it in a way that, got her permission to use it for me, and I was wrong. I clearly violated her trust, and it really bothered her. And, for that, I'm really sorry. Obviously, when I had the initial conversation with Katie to get her compass, I did not have the best intentions. I will be very clear with that. I wanted to be Denise getting an idol from Sandra. I wanted to be like Natalie convincing someone to do something they shouldn't do to Eric. Those are iconic moves, and are oftentimes revered, and people think highly of people that can do that. And I came in actually planning to play a much more cutthroat game, snaky game, than I feel like I have. And the whole reason because that is Katie, because I knew it would personally hurt her if I betrayed her. So I really didn't want to. I wanted to find a path forward with Katie, because I thought she really had my back. So kind of the weird thing about her feeling like I violated my trust is in a way she violated my trust, because I really thought we had each other's backs. I really did. And I was trying to play with my heart with her, even though I want to play with my head. I was trying to play a different way. And I still hurt her anyhow. And look like a total scumbag. Awesome. So yeah, she blew up my whole game at Crossroads. She made everyone think I have another half of a compass, which I don't have. That was all in reference to a conversation I had with her when I got a clue to what I assume was half a compass. That I was basically trying to say, if I use this, like, I think I might be able to get something else so that we can use something again. So, yeah, I didn't have the best intentions when I got the compass from her. But through that conversation, she made me want to play with my heart. So I will be donating to her charity. I think Katie is a survivor and like an amazing person. She has such a vibrant life, has been through so much. I have a lot of respect for her. If she doesn't have any respect for me, then, you know, it is what it is. But almost everything I said to her was entirely genuine. But, you know, the game moves forward. And, you know, after Crossroads, people were kind of comforting me and trying to see how I was. And I think most people know that I was telling the truth and that I was willing to give the compass back. But, you know, who knows? Who knows? I got a lot of damage control to do. And I got to get back to being like the fun-loving Lord of Chaos that I want to be, instead of this game that I had been playing because I was trying to play with Katie. So I got to get my head back in the game. I really do. I'm a little scrambled right now. I'm a little emotional right now. And but I'm still in the game. I still have a shot to win. Obviously, if I get to final ascent, I have one person on the jury that really seems to maybe hate me. I don't know if hate's a strong word or not, but she really feels betrayed by me, and you know that's tough. That's tough, and my low target day was a massive failure. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. After the off day, I am energized to get back into this game. I'm still a little baffled that Katie went against me so hard so quickly, because I felt like I actually played a pretty loyal game to her, and I think I was actually more protective of her than anyone in the game, aside from maybe Carl. So, you know, it's strange because I felt like, you know, it was her compass, but I felt like the way I did that move was almost downright gentlemanly. I made sure I had her permission. I even offered it back to her at Crossroads, knowing that if I handed it back, it would go home. And I truly was going to do that, because it was one of those things that if I couldn't get her to play it for me, and I just was like outright, just like not even, you know, not even hiding it, that I'm like, I took her idol, I'm using it for myself. It just would burn every bridge. No one would trust me. I would just have this biggest snake in the game label. So I my goal was like, I need to convince her to let me play it and do this move, keep myself safe, and not get this huge snake label on me. But I don't think she fully understood that, like, if I got voted out, that compass would go home with me. So, like, to me, my options really were I either needed to play it or I needed to pass it off to someone. because I really thought that I was in serious danger. And, with the split vote with Philip and Bambi ruined the split last minute. But if they actually thought I had a compass, they probably would have voted me out over Philip after the split, just to flush that compass out. So yeah, I nearly went home, and I thought I handled it in a way that wasn't going to make me seem like a bad guy or burn a bridge with Katie, but she just smoked. So the irony is she thinks I betrayed her, but she kind of betrayed me. Like, I was never going after her. I was literally defending her and trying to convince other people to keep her in the game longer because she was loyal and trustworthy and she wasn't going to backstab us. And now I'm the one that was wrong. She was going to backstab me. So, I got a lot of love for Katie, but like, I don't think she just understood the game well enough to be able to process what had happened in the way I think it happened, at least. But, it's the next phase of the game. And I'm actually in this weird position that I've been focusing on keeping my threat level in lower, in kind of a medium range. So I wasn't on people's radar as much. But now it's like, is my threat level like so low where I'm not even going to win if I get to the end? Because people think I'm just like this snaky player, and and now that's my thing, is like, yeah, I really need to start playing as hard as I can. So this is the fun part of the game, and I am going to be playing my butt off to make sure that not only do I get to the end, but I'm the most deserving person at the end. My main two people that I'm concerned about are Josh and Carl right now, because they seem pretty confident and comfortable in this game, and I don't know why they should, because there is a 5-person alliance against them. So the reason that they're comfortable can only mean that there's an alliance I'm not a part of, and I know Mike is in that alliance. I know Mike is the one that's playing both sides, and who knows that there might be another person or two that are also in that. So I need to find a way to really crack that alliance, and I need to be very careful with how I handle Mike during this situation, because I think he's putting himself in a position where everyone trusts him, and he's going to pick a side at the last minute, and there's a reason why he has been protective about not voting for Carl. So it's time for some big moves. It's time to play to win. It's time for this old snake to become a winner. And I'm going to play my butt off to do it.
Woo! Tonight was crazy! I decided to go to the Serrated Peak. I knew since Docs had said who wanted to go to the Serrated Peak, I did. We were playing Cahoots. I knew I wasn't going to win Cahoots. I just didn't know when a good time to say I wanted to go to the Serrated Peak was. I knew Carl was going to jump on it at some point, especially if he wasn't in 5th. And then he started getting into 5th, and I'm like, damn. And I thought Carl or Josh were going to jump on it for sure. So Carl and Katie are talking about it, and I'm like, damn, I got to say this before I don't get the chance. I didn't even care at this point. I should be in a good enough position that I can miss some strategy talk. I knew there was a lot of things going on with what happened last time because of David and everything with Carl. So I figured I would be okay. So I went, and yeah, it was worth it. Kelly Wentworth, talked to her for a half an hour at least. I don't even know how long it was. Solid. That woman is badass. Yes, I may be on Team Janet. Absolutely love Janet. But Kelly Wentworth is a badass bitch, and I couldn't have been more stoked to be able to talk to her and have a little bit of strategy session, a little bit of chat, and obviously I'm asking for an advantage right away. She doesn't have anything right away. Eventually Docs comes in, tells me I can compete in something. I say right away, I'm in. I don't even need to know what it is. Definitely got ahead of myself there. I should have asked what the challenge was, but I would have done it anyways. And I ended up doing it. I got it. I completed it 40 times. I'm lying to everybody, telling them I did it. It took 50 times in 4 minutes, and I only got 26. I don't even know where I came up with that number. Probably should have said a little bit higher, but whatever. Hopefully they believe me. I have a full compass now, and hopefully I don't have to use it until the final 5. That would be epic. That's the goal. Keep it until the very last moment that I need it. I really want to find this other compass. I'm also spreading around that the Kelly compass has been found, because it was, unfortunately not by me. I have a good idea that it's Bambi, Josh, or Mike, potentially David or Haley, that have that compass. It'll be interesting to find out who really does have it when they play it. I don't know which route I'm going. All I know is we voted out Katie, and I did vote her. Ultimately, I didn't want to vote Katie out, to be absolutely honest. I would have liked her to stay in the game longer. But at the same time, I know I wasn't Katie's tightest ally, so it wasn't a real loss to me, but wasn't a move that I wanted to be making at the time either. I do want to see a male needs to go out next. It's 5-4 ratio right now. I want to keep the girls' numbers up. I'm really going to push that we take out a male tonight. If for some reason the guys are pushing a female, I'm going to try to do an all-girls thing if I have to, but I will have to see when the round comes if the ladies are up for that, and I think they will be. I think they'll see my point of view. There's a lot of strong, good women here. I've already basically created an alliance with 4 out of 5, so hopefully Haley's down and we can actually take out a male to keep our numbers up. The next challenge, I just really hope a female wins the immunity. Ideally Mariana. I want to keep her or me safe and not have to worry about our names getting spread around. I've already heard her name multiple times. Luckily, I've been able to keep it. I don't know if it's even just me, but I definitely veer away from that. Try to get the traction not there. I do not want her out of this game. Final 2, like I said, solid to the end with that. Hopefully she's true to her word. I've said that before also. But who knows at this point. Either way, I've got a compass and I don't want to use it till final 5, and that's the goal. I can't wait to see what happens next. I have no idea which route I'm going. I have weighed the pros and cons in every damn angle, but it really depends on what people you get in what rooms at what time to have the conversations that need to be had. So go with the flow and see what happens, and there's a good chance that Josh, I just don't know who to take out at this point. It could be Josh, it could be Mike, it could be Carl, it could be David, but one of them have to go, unfortunately, and I love them all. Anyways, that's where I'm at, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, day 9, here we are. And I feel like I need to come up with a better word for crazy to describe each night, but I think it sums it up perfectly. I feel like I should start where my day 8 confessional left off, because after I recorded that, I was thinking about what Philip said for the clue. He said something about playing in the snow was the clue for the compass. So I didn't really know how compasses were working. I hadn't seen any clues. I hadn't seen anything that was like a compass, but I had seen on other seasons that people were talking about social media. So I went to Kelly Wentworth's Instagram, scrolled for a long time, and saw something about a snow day, clicked on it, and saw the message that you could send to try to get that compass. It's already 11:40 at night, and so the compass had been out there for like 4 hours. So when I sent it, it was already claimed. But I knew at that point, the only people I'd seen in the clue room were Philip, who's gone, David, Bambi, and Mariana. So after the vote that night, I was still kind of mad that I had received a vote, that I hadn't even thought about the fact that David got 3, which means someone who's on our side voted for him. So those were 2 things that I was thinking about going into day 9. We started the challenge, and it was Kahoot. It was trivia, which I was feeling really, really good about. But when we started that first question for points, my Discord just stopped working, and I was freaking out because I missed that first question, and I kind of stopped everything, and they let me get reset so that I was back in the game. But I was like, oh my gosh, I missed that first question. That's such a setback. So then I'm just trying to get caught up,
and there's questions about Alaska, there's questions about Survivor, there's questions about our game, and I'm doing well. I finally catch up to where I am in second place, right against Mike, my fellow teacher who knows Kahoot very well. And there comes a question with double points. I get it and he doesn't, and that just kind of sets me up for the rest of the game. So I end up winning, which is awesome. I love having exemption and not worrying about at all if my name's going to pop up tonight. However, I've been really bad at the challenges, and for me to only do well at one where you're using your brains makes me nervous, because I have been trying to not be smart at all in this game. My strategy so far has been to be a little bit clueless. I'm trying not to say too much. I'm trying not to show what I'm thinking very much to them. But there's a lot that I'm seeing that maybe others aren't. So then we are deliberating at camp. I start off by hearing more of Bambi and Mariana saying Janet's strong, but as we're talking over that hour that we have before Crossroads, the name that keeps becoming more and more clear is Katie's. Katie and David are having trouble. Nobody knows what Katie's gonna do, if she's telling the truth, or what. So it just becomes sort of unanimous that it is going to be Katie going home. So we get to Crossroads. She explodes at David. There's not a lot of other things that happen. That was kind of just a big thing, and it was just 9-1, and Katie left us. And I never wanted to put Katie's name down, but it was hard. It was hard for us to know what to do next, and if we could trust that she was going to say what we were, or do what we were saying. So now I feel like we're entering this like turning point of the game. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to make some big moves, but I feel like it's still too early. I don't want to put a target on my back, but there are certainly people that are not Bambi or Mariana that I want to get out. I would love to go for a Carl, a Joshua. Danielle thinks we're pretty tight, but I've never really felt close to Danielle. The other thing that worries about me is Mike. I love Mike and I love working with Mike, but it seems like everyone else does too. And when you're asking Bambi what she's doing, she's just going, I'm Team Mike, I'm Team Mike. And I'd love to break up the two of them as well. So we're at this point where I know that there's a path to the end for me. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Right there, yeah. Having thought about what happened last night in the last round in particular, I'm not too worried. I think I've set myself up in a very good position. We have a good amount of people that I think trust me and that I'm on their side. I don't think me winning as many challenges that I have and being a part of as many winning parties as I have is going to affect me at all. I think I've done a good enough job showing that I'm just as much human as everybody else, while still maintaining my connections with everybody and playing a solid game. I think so. You can argue socially, of course, with the Philip thing that just happened. But that's part of my plan, baby. That's part of the plan. And you gotta make sure that your plan goes flawlessly. But you have to be expecting some stuff that could go wrong. Apparently David was given a compass, a full compass, by Katie. But Katie is now coming out saying that she felt like he bullied her into doing it. And I don't know how to take that. I love Katie as a person. I believe she's the most interesting person I have met in a very long time, if not the most interesting person I've ever met. With that comes a lot of stories, stuff that you don't know if is really true or not. She claims to be on the same floor as Johnny Depp, Hugh Jackman, and Dwayne Wade's wife. What? She says she's defended off gunmen holding a gun to her head and stuff like that, and I'm not questioning a second of it. She seems like a very experienced person, and she's done modeling, she's done all this crazy stuff. She's a CEO now or something. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I can't tell. What I do know, though, is her in-game experiences. She's done eeny, meeny, miny, mo to decide who she votes for when she's got 3 or 4 other folks who are counting on her vote. That's not good. That's not something I want to play with. I want to play with predictable people, people that I can trust, and people that at the end of the day, I can count on them as much as they can count on me. I can't count on Katie. Katie is somebody who will change her mind on the flip of a dime. One phrase is said wrong, and she's done with you. That's what happened with David. I think everybody in this party saw David ask Katie about 3 or 4 times, and probably more so in private calls. Is it okay if I use this? Is it okay if I keep this for myself? Is it okay if I play this right now? At Crossroads, in front of everybody. And I understand through Katie that could have seemed like pressure, but it seemed like David was genuinely surprised when Katie started this backlash. And I'm glad I was able to talk to him about it a little bit, because I thought he might not want to vote Katie after she just gave him a compass. So I had to go tell David, hey, bud, Katie wants you, man. Katie wants you. Because she feels like she was bullied by you. And I could see the emotion kind of building up in him. You could see it in his face, like, wow. He was upset. He was genuinely upset. And I think that kind of clicked in his brain that Katie is somebody that's not reliable for him. Katie is somebody that he feels like could have been his #1 ally for the entire game. But she blew it up because she was getting emotional. And sometimes in this game, you have to repress your emotions. I'm pretty good at that. I've done these games for probably half of my life at this point. I've been playing online orgs and whatnot for a very long time, so I'm used to that phrase. But for somebody like Katie, who I believe has never even played a game, I don't even think she's watched the show this is based off of, or any expeditions or anything, she doesn't understand that quite a bit. And that's what makes Expedition so complex. You have people like Philip who are playing the loyal game and have their sets. You have people like Katie who are not super fans by any means, and they're playing strictly on emotion. And you have people like me who, as long as I'm getting by, I'm happy. I'm okay. I don't really care about the little things. And that hodgepodge of personalities and people is exactly why this is the greatest game on the planet. And as far as for us, I think we're at that point where emotions can actually be hurtful for an alliance. If I were to work with Katie and she were to develop an emotion with me and feel like she can trust me, if I were to blindside her, that would hurt my game because she would not particularly care for me. Carl said it best. We were in a chat with Carl, or at least I was. Carl said it best. As of right now, if Katie were to go home, she would definitely vote for either one of myself or Carl. She loves the two of us. In my mind, at least from what I've seen, she loves the two of us. So I think she'd be willing to vote the one of us to win this game, which sparked just joy in my ears hearing it from Carl, because that's somebody I had doubts of. Somebody that I thought maybe Carl might not want to vote Katie. And that's because she's a great person. And she's entertaining. We love listening to her. But at some point we have to make those tough decisions, and that's where I think it kind of draws a line between me and Katie. So that's why I think she's got to go. Oh well. So Katie went home in a blaze of glory. She fought hard. She was campaigning against David pretty hard at Crossroads. And I think we all understood where she's coming from, but I think we believed David more. Or at least we trusted David more going into the next few rounds. Katie going home was actually really good for me. And I hate to say that because I love Katie. I love talking to her, and I think she's an incredible person. But it really was one of the best things I could have done for my game. Right now, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot, myself and Carl included, and Mike in that as well. We have 3, Carl, Mike, and myself. We can add another 3 by adding Danielle, Mariana, and Olivia. That's a solid 6. That's 6 out of 9 people. That is an incredible majority to have. But it's all about making sure that Danielle, Olivia, and Mariana are all on board. Our next vote out has to be one of David or Haley. And I would love for it to be Haley. Because I think Carl's on to something. When we get closer to this mid-rendezvous point, it could end up being guys versus girls. So going into Final 8, I want to make sure there's at least 5 guys there. If we vote out David, that's an opportunity for them to have 5 girls and 3 boys, 3 guys. That could be a problem. So ideally, Bambi or Haley goes. I'd rather Haley though, because we know Haley and David are like this. They've been together this whole game. And you can just see it in the calls. They're always checking up on each other. They're always talking to each other. Which is good. Good. I know that they're close, and I know that they can have insight with each other. But we really have to play this next one flawlessly. Bambi's going to go home, or Mariana's going to go home, one of the two. But what's really going to happen is hopefully Haley or David slip up, Haley or David mess up. And I think we have the perfect case now to keep David in at least one round longer, because Katie just hates her. So I think it could be flawless, could be great. We're going to have to see though, but I'm trying to set up success for myself. I want to keep working with Carl. I think that's a good idea, but I have to make sure that I can rely on him long term. Mike is the guy who's got another half a compass, and somebody's got a full compass. I'm afraid it's going to be David. But I feel like he wouldn't have pushed to have Katie's. So it tells me it's not David. I think Mike actually has the full compass. So when push comes to shove, he might give me his other half, or be willing to play it on me. So I guess we'll have to see. But I'm excited for the prospect. I'm excited for the game that we're gonna play. And I think I'm in a very good spot. I'm gonna try to tone down my challenges. I don't want to win anymore until I absolutely feel like I have to. And I don't feel like I have to at this point. David could also be a number I could use. He's somebody that is going to be out there as somebody that's a big player. Everybody's already thinking it. So he may want to keep me around. We'll have to see. I want to take out some people that could be non-factors at the end game. People that aren't going to get votes. I want to take out one of those, at least, at this next, so that I have a better shot at getting to the end, the people I want to get to the end with. I think I have a great chance. I think I have a fantastic chance. But it's all about making sure everything goes according to the plan, to my plan. And I have to be not overbearing. I have to be able to step back and let other people make decisions that I don't want to make. And I might have to follow those decisions that I don't want to have to follow, but that's okay. As long as I can find an alternate way, there's nobody who can stop me in this game. Not a single person. So I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done real good. and you're going to witness greatness in this game. I'm here to have fun, but I'm also here to win.
And when I was crying, it wasn't because I was voted out. It was because I told you what David did. I told you. And you voted for me? Like, it doesn't make sense. I was frustrated. Plus, I think I might be starting menopause and you cry at the drop of a hat. But guess what? That was dumb on you guys' part, and you're not in menopause. So I don't even get it, and I don't want to hear about it. When you come to jury, don't talk to me. But a good excuse for keeping Mariana was because she bought a shirt from the website. But it's not a good excuse because I gave up seeing my classmates on Friday night for the class reunion. But you vote my name instead of David's when I told you what he did? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, I don't even understand you people. Like, I don't even want to talk to anyone through the rest of this. Like, I really don't even know what to say. And I know I have to say something, but I'm at a loss for words. Like, can someone please explain to me how it makes sense to keep David in the game? And, okay, so let's say you want to keep him for a minute for whatever reason, but you're gonna, like how many people vote my name? Are you serious? Like, that's the craziest thing. And I told you it was my 40th class reunion. So go ahead and leave David in there right till the very end. I want him in the top 2 so he can lose right there. Because don't bring him to the jury now, because I'm not talking to him. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to look at him. I'm going to turn my phone off. Turn my computer off, whatever it is I'm using. Because that was the dumbest thing ever. And how he was able to talk you guys into something like that is just absolutely beyond me, and I don't even care about an explanation. Like, don't even try. So let me see. I guess what I should have done was taken an excused absence so I could spend Friday night with my class celebrating our 40th reunion from high school. But no, I had to be with you people so I could tell you what David was doing, and I knew he was going to use the compass. I was trying to get it back, and he wouldn't give it to me. That was mine, and I gave it to him a long time ago when Bill was voted out.
Hi everyone, it's Mariana with my Day 9 update video. I just came back inside from Glacier Bay, just warming up right now. But anyways, let's jump into how the day went. So tonight's challenge, we had a trivia night on Kahoot, which was actually tougher than I thought. I came like in 9th place. To be honest, I wasn't really trying because I didn't want to risk being in 5th place, because if I came in 5th place, I would have went to Serrated Peak, and that would have put a big target on me because I already been there. So honestly, I just thought it was best for my game to throw the comp, even though technically I really didn't throw it. I really just, a lot of the answers I really didn't know, so not much really throwing, but you know. And then Haley won. She like killed it. She like knows a lot. And then, to be honest, like I at first was nervous about not losing, but at the same time, I wasn't too worried either. So like when we went back to the camp, a lot of speculation was around Katie. I guess people think that she's just on. Sometimes Katie is hard to grasp in terms of like what will she be doing. And to be honest, like I've never really spoke to Katie game wise, so like for me it doesn't benefit me for her to be in the game because I just have no relationship with her. So yeah, once I started hearing her name, I'm like, oh, thank God it's Katie. But of course then I spoke to Bambi, and Bambi's like, yeah, I keep hearing your and my name. I'm like, huh, because I haven't heard my name at all by anyone. Like, I was told or hearing that the general consensus was Katie. So then I asked Bambi, I'm like, who's saying our names? And she's like, oh, Mike. So literally Mike has been targeting me like the last few rounds. Like, he's the one that always says my name. Like, when people say, oh, Mariana and Bambi, it's Mike that at least says my name. I don't know about Bambi's because they seem pretty close. Like I always watch, the rooms jump or who jumps in which rooms. And so Bambi, Olivia, and Mike, they're always talking. I feel like, at least that's my observation. So to be honest, like moving forward, I'm going to be watching out for Mike. Okay, so to jump back just a little bit, when we first entered the base camp, after the challenge, my first goal was to talk to David because, as you know, I voted for David out of the other night. So, and I wanted to tell David, like, hey, I really did not want you to go home. I was in a tough spot because I didn't want to send Philip home. So I just kind of, quote unquote, threw the vote. And I kind of told him how Carl was the one who instigated, or whatever the word is. Carl was the one that brought up the plan to get rid of David. But I pretty much told David, like, hey, I got you and Danielle's back. Like, really moving forward, I want to stay with Danielle and David. And I hope the three of us can keep each other aware of when our names are truly being thrown underneath the bus. Since sometimes Danielle and David are not able to be in the same room at all times, I actually created 2 separate secret codes with both of them. So with David, we created like these Cleveland references. There's Edgewater Beach and then Barrios. So if I hear David's name, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, have you been to Barrios lately? Which is like the most popular taco place in Cleveland. And then he's going to tell me Edgewater, which is like one of Cleveland's downtown beaches. So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to work out. And then Danielle, we have like a signal on the camera. If we hear each other's names, we'll just like use like a pen or something. But yeah, so glad we figured that out because again, we're not going to be in the same room at all times. Because I really want to make it to the end with them because I think I do trust Danielle the most as well as potentially David. But then I also have this good relationship with Joshua. But I feel like eventually it's going to be like a David-Joshua thing. I don't know. Also, now both Bambi, Danielle, and Haley all asked me individually, like, hey, do you have the compass? I'm like, of course I'm gonna lie. I'm like, no, I mean, I did, I was honest and said I did go to the clue room, but like, I just pretended like, or I said I didn't have time to calculate it. And I do want to tell Danielle, like, I kind of feel bad for lying to her about it, but like, I just want to keep, I want to keep it within myself to not say anything about the compass because then I know, I won't have to worry about who leaked information that I truly have it. I could potentially tell Danielle, but I don't know. If anything, I'll just tell her, like, I just couldn't tell you because if I told you, I would have gotten, casted away right away or something. I don't know. I'll think of something. But yeah, I have the compass. I'm trying to keep it as long as I can. I have the compass. I have the token. So I hope that can at least keep me safe. Yeah. But yeah, this upcoming cycle is going to be interesting. I'm just going to have to continue hoping that the Janet explorers keep going at it with each other. And I'm just going to play lone wolf and be like, yeah, if you guys need me as a number, let me know. I'll help. But obviously, I'm going to prioritize Danielle and David first. So, yep, we'll see how the rest of the week goes. Hopefully, I can stay around for a few more days. And yeah, that's all I have for you today.
Well, okay, so Expedition Episode 9. First of all, I'm like super proud of myself. I made it to the rendezvous. I've made it past 2 rendezvous votes. I've made it to the final 9. I feel really grateful, just first and foremost, that I've had this opportunity, that I've been able to play this game. I think for charity, the fact that we're playing for charity is such a unique experience, but also something that I've not really done per se before in my life. So I feel really like proud of the representation that I'm giving to my charity. My charity is Glacier of Western New York, which is gay, lesbian youth services, where they help gay, lesbian youth, young teenagers, preteens, who have been kind of ostracized from their family, from the people that would normally support them and help them academically and financially to keep them kind of above water so that they can succeed and be successful in life. And I think it's such a great cause and something that I truly, as an educator, I feel really, thankful that I'm in this situation where I can kind of fight for them. Win or lose, I think it's going to be a lot of fun moving forward. I just really hope that I can kind of represent and make, that community proud. So that's first and foremost. Game-wise, so we get to camp tonight, and things seem fairly normal. Like, everyone's just kind of chit-chatting. I just have this paranoid mindset where, I voted for Katie at the last crossroads, and so, obviously, like, there's some awkwardness, there's some discomfort between, Katie and myself, and Katie kind of outed it, which kind of was uncomfortable too, but I was hoping, moving forward that maybe I can kind of smooth things over with her. But it didn't really look too promising, and Katie is obviously somebody that was on my lips anyway, so it wasn't going to be hard for me to kind of vote her out if I had to. So we go to the challenge. The challenge is a Kahoot game, trivia about Glacier Bay, which I was like, okay, well, I'm good at geography. Like, I kind of, make educated guesses when it comes to geography. So I thought I had kind of a decent chance at it. Well, come to find out, I'm actually much more privy to Glacier Bay geography and trivia than I thought I was. I pretty much led the challenge for the first half of the competition, which was great, except a double point question I got wrong, and suddenly Haley was above me and kept the lead for the rest of the game. So Haley won exemption. I didn't think I needed it. I felt really confident in kind of the connections and the relationships that I have made in the game. And so even though I had voted for Katie and I knew she would be kind of coming a little bit, heated about it, I felt good about the fact that I could probably persuade people not to vote me off and to kind of disregard what Katie was saying. So I didn't feel too worried about it. So get back to camp. It's actually, Danielle just decides to go to Serrated Peak, and I was like, okay, that's good. Like, Danielle and I kind of have solidified some sort of allegiance to each other. I don't know if we've solidified a final two per se, but I definitely know that, she's feeling okay with me. I don't 100% trust her moving forward because she's built some relationships with other people as well, but people that I also want to work with. So I feel good with Danielle. So she goes to Serrated Peak, and we all go back to camp. So she is not with us for the first third of our camp time, which doesn't really matter because we spend about 15 minutes of it just kind of shooting the shit. Nobody's moving, and I knew that there was this awkwardness with Katie and I, so I really didn't want to make the first move. Especially if it didn't have anything to do with Katie, and I didn't want to kind of put it out there that maybe I'm pushing Katie's name. Carl attempts to try to leave the room, but it doesn't have a really emotion to it. Nobody really moves. So then I just say I'm going to the trail. I don't even know if it was the trail, but I go to a room eventually, because I'm done with this. I can't. These niceties are done. We're in the final 10. We got to make some moves here. So I go to the trail. Josh follows me. Carl follows pretty close behind. But Josh and I, we really do kind of see the game very similarly. And I think the big difference between Josh and I is that Josh is playing it very villainously. And I'm okay with that. Let him kind of play these big, bold, ridiculous moves and make himself seem kind of, emboldened to do these things, and I'll just kind of skate through with him, and if I end up in the end with him, I feel like I could persuade a jury to vote for me over him. So Josh is actually a really good choice to go to the end with at this point, from what I've seen of his game. He seems very devious. He seems like somebody that's going to just kind of make moves to make moves. So I'm wary of him, but I think I can trust him at this point. And Carl is just like a great guy, like genuine, amazing human being. Even though I kind of did throw his name under the bus a little bit in the last round. But it was to protect David, and I felt really confident with David and Haley, and so I didn't want, Carl was throwing David's name out, so that's the only reason why I kind of like slipped his name out a little bit, but I don't think Carl knows that, so I think that's a good sign. So Josh, Carl, and I basically commit, like Josh is pushing Katie, like Josh is like, we gotta vote for Katie, and I was like, oh, okay, I was like, well, I'm down for that because I already voted for Katie. So, like, you guys know I'm good with that. And Carl was like, yeah, I don't really want to vote for Katie, but I'll do it. Great. I think it was like the next room I was in, Bambi told me that Carl's pushing her name. No. Was it Bambi? Yeah, I think it was Bambi. I don't remember. I heard somebody told me that Carl's pushing Bambi's name. So I'm like, what? We just solidified Katie. Like, I don't understand. I don't know why now suddenly we're voting for Bambi. So I play a little bit on the defensive. I let Bambi know, like, hey, I'm with you. Like, I'm not voting for you. I clearly am going to vote for Katie over you. I did it before. So that kind of seemed to be fine. I connect with Danielle, which was hilarious because I really, I thought she was going to be gone for a bit, and suddenly I'm already in a room with Danielle. She, I believe, comes into my room, I think. And so that's a good sign. That means she wants to talk to me. So I felt really confident about that. So Danielle and I talk about her time on Serrated Peak. Basically, she got to talk to Kelly. She found out that there was a compass, but somebody already has it. And I was like, yeah, Bambi told me the same thing. So I feel really good. I feel like I'm sharing enough information with Danielle and giving her enough that she feels good with me, and I feel like she's doing the same with me. So I don't know if maybe she did find more on Serrated Peak than that, but at this point, I trust that she is giving me as much as I need at this point to keep aligned with her. So I'm good with that. I'll keep her in the back of my head as maybe she's got something that I don't know about, but I don't think it's really gonna damage me until later in the game, end game. So I'm feeling good about that. Then I end up in a room. I think that was next. There was a couple of other things that happened, I think. I end up in a room with Olivia, and Olivia and I are kind of just chit-chatting about, what we think we should do. And Olivia's like, I don't really want to vote for Katie because I feel bad because I already voted for her, and I had this great conversation with her. It kind of smoothed things over. And I'm like, ugh. I was like, Olivia, come on. I need you. I need your vote. At that moment, Katie pops in. So I'm like, oh no. The two people that voted for her, and she's here to, ream us out. She doesn't. She does not ream us out. She actually, we have a great conversation. We talk very highly of each other, and I all of that was genuine. I don't know if she's going to take it as genuine, but all of it was genuine. I really do respect her and envy her life. I know she's got some other things, that aren't as envious, right? That I wouldn't envy per se, but she's living her life and she's doing an amazing job, and she is a wonderful, amazing, worldly woman that I'm so excited and glad that I got to meet. So I'll say that. The unfortunate thing is that she then starts throwing David under the bus, basically saying that he lied to her, that he was going to give her back the compass at last crossroads and didn't, and that his asking her at crossroads was actually a spectacle and not to trust him. I love this game. I love this game a lot. I hopefully get to, we'll hopefully get to play this game at some point on the real show on with CBS. And things can get personal and things can get really deep. And Katie takes it to that level for herself. The things that happen to her in the game become very personal for her. And I respect that. I think that, everybody plays the game differently. And, the fact that she was able to have a valid, open conversation with Olivia and I was phenomenal. Like, I was actually like, wow, I really respect that she was able to have that conversation and we were able to kind of get on the same page. And then she throws David's name under the bus. And I don't want to say she lost my respect, but like, it kind of dug a little deeper for me than I thought it would at first. Like, at first I thought, oh, great, like, this is going to be great fodder for me to, like, get David and Haley against her. But she kept going, and she kept talking about how much of a snake he is, and that, she's so hurt by him, and that she trusted him, like, so much, and that, he lied to her. And I know none of that's true. And I fought with this for the time I was talking to her, because I honestly believe she believes that. And it was tough because I wanted to immediately jump out of the room and go talk to David and Haley. But I didn't right away, because I wanted Katie to be able to speak her piece and talk through what she was thinking. And feel like she could trust me with it. And she did. And the more she talked, the more angry I got at her. And I don't like that. I don't like that I felt angry. Because, when you're somebody who continuously says, like, this is a game, like, this is for charity, like, we should be nice to each other, I don't know why people are, lying and being deceitful. And I really don't know if she was purposely being deceitful, but I knew what she was saying was not the truth. David doesn't, as much as David is playing this game, and I think he's playing a great game, I think what she didn't understand was that he was playing the game with her, like 100%. And she just railroaded him, and then did it at Crossroads. And I think that's what really, like, at first I was kind of like, okay, here's the heat, right? But it was very uncomfortable, and it was very sad. Like, it made the game less fun. And it's hard to put into words. I just felt like she didn't understand the perspective of the game, that the game is what it is, and it does promote lying and deceit. There are people that can win this game without being deceitful, but it's hard to do. And I just don't think that she really grasped the concept of, like, how these relationships, figure into the game, and how voting, can be a very difficult decision. And so when she blew up at first I was like, oh my God, this has to be a ploy. Like, there's something going on, and I'm being made a fool of. Like, immediately I'm like, there's no way that Katie and David are gonna vote each other out. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I went and told Haley, and I said, this is what I'm hearing, and I'm really confused. Like, I just wanted to let you know, because I trust you and David, and I've told you that Katie can be a little bit chaotic. And they didn't believe me. They kept telling me how loyal she was and how she's gonna work with us and vote with us. And I'm like, okay, I believe you. I'm gonna, my own mental, I can read people. I read people very, very well. And per Katie, maybe I should start playing poker. I don't know. But, like, I had Katie pegged that she was gonna cause a lot of chaos, and she did. So it blows up at Crossroads, and I now realize that it's not a ploy. And if it's still a ploy, like, they are committed to this. So I was like, okay, I just don't see David being willing to put on this show. This just doesn't make sense. And Katie would refuse to let David speak, and really truly believe that David had hurt her to her core. And I don't know what that was about. So, like, I don't see it. I don't understand it. Her truth is her truth. I think that, what she believes is true. But David came to me before that crossroads and said, I have her. He came to me before crossroads and said, I have her compass, and I just don't feel right playing it, especially if you think you're going to vote for her. And I was like, I might vote for her. I said, so if you play it, she could be the one going home. And so I knew he was torn. I knew he was torn about using that compass. And so for her to just railroad him through that, I feel bad. I feel bad that I'm glad he gets a break in the game right now, because we don't have to play till Sunday. So we've got 2 days that we don't even we're not even allowed to talk to each other. So I think that's good. I think David need some time to decompress from that. But we vote Katie out, just done, unanimous vote in a final 10. All nine of us voted her out. And in one aspect, I almost feel like she wanted that to happen, but I don't understand it. I don't understand why the fireworks, why make David feel so small. I hurt for him. And so I had to vote her out. There was no option whatsoever at that point. I voted her out over David the first time. I'm certainly not going to vote for David this time. So I'm really happy with where I kind of placed my vote. I'm happy with the final 9. I don't know kind of exactly where I go from here. I really, really need Mariana to go home, but I still don't think I'm going to be able to do it. But I've got, I know this is a long confessional, so I apologize, but basically the people that I've got in my corner seems like Josh and Carl are with me. They seem to really want to stick to a final 3 with me, which I feel like I can trust at this point. So I feel good with that. I feel like now for sure David and Haley trust me and feel good with me. I know that Olivia seems to feel really good with me. I know Bambi really trusts me. And I think Danielle and I have, something going on that we feel is fairly secretive. So I feel like I'm in a good place. I feel like I don't need to be paranoid. I did really well in the last challenge. I felt like Katie could have easily tried to work up some votes against me and didn't. So I'm still voteless. Nobody has voted for me in this game so far. So I'm feeling what's the word I want? I'm feeling sporadic is coming into my mind, but that's not the right word. I'm so tired. I'm feeling realistically optimistic. I know that it's still only a 1 in 9 shot of winning this game. I feel like there was a lot of just unneeded chaos in the last 2 votes. So I'm just worried about when that turns on me. Because I don't deal with drama very well, so I'm just trying to, I'm glad Katie's out, because I feel like that would have been really, uncomfortable, her and I. But at the end of the day, I'm still in the game. I have some really close allies, I think. I know David is going to trust me 100%. I feel like Haley trusts me. So I feel like I can make some things happen in the next vote. I'm just hoping that I have the right connections with the right people. Katie was not a connection I had. Philip was someone that I lost, which, that was a loss, but I have tons of other people. So I'm hoping I can kind of keep the right people together and see. I don't understand how nobody will vote for Mariana. Nobody. Not interested. So interesting. But she is going to continue to be my target. I like her. She seems really great. I think she knows that in the long run, I'm going to probably vote her out or try to get her voted out. But at this point, I feel really great with the final 9. I'm just hoping, I'm getting redundant now, so I'm going to go, but I'm hoping I can survive the next few votes, because everyone's going to have a Destiny's token. And I feel like Danielle brought it up, like, you know, why vote for Katie when she doesn't have a Destiny's token? And if Katie hadn't created all that chaos, I really feel like Katie might have survived this vote simply because she's already used her token. And people are going to want to start voting out people that have advantages. And at this point, everyone left in the game has that token. So at this point, it's going to be completely like token-geddon. I don't even know what you call it. Destiny-geddon? I don't know. But people are going to start playing it, and it's going to cause something to go wonky. So I have to plan for that. So, you know, I always have a plan B. I have a choice B. So Katie was always my choice B. Today, she ended up being choice A. So at this point, Mariana is my choice A, but I have to start making moves here. So potentially, I think that it's going to have to be potentially Carl or Josh, because I don't know who else. Like, David and Haley are kind of like on the outs right now, so I feel like it would be smart to try to pull them in if I can. But we'll see. I'm probably going to do a second confessional at some point this weekend, to be a little bit clearer about like what my plan is moving forward. But I just needed to kind of debrief tonight, and it's already at 23 minutes, so I'm going to stop. But I feel great about what happened, but not great about what happened. Like, I'm great that Katie was voted out. Like, I feel good because that was always my plan. But I feel terrible about how it all went down. So that's that. But confessional B will be about my plan moving forward once I can wrap my head around it. Okay, so this is my second confessional for episode 9. I wanted to kind of just break down a little bit of kind of where my connections are and kind of work out potentially who my final, alliances are going to be. We're in the final 9 right now, and it's really important for me to lock down like key relationships. So I realized that I can break people down into pairs. I don't have a pair. I don't think anybody can actually connect me with anybody specifically. So that's really good for me. The people that I can really connect officially are David and Haley. They are definitely a duo. Josh and Carl, definitely a duo. Bambi and Mariana, simply because they're the only Kellys left. That's a duo. And Danielle and Olivia have been on the same team, have been on the same party, all 3 swaps. So they're a duo. I am literally a lone wolf. I am the player that can literally connect with any of those pairs and make it to the end. Like, this is the best case scenario. I don't know if I could have positioned myself in a better situation. I don't know who I want to connect with, though. The dilemma is that David and Haley would probably be the best pair to connect with, because if I can get them to the end, potentially, I win, because I don't see anybody really looking at David and Haley as the big game players this season. So if I can get to the final 3 with the 2 of them, I'm probably on lock to win. Then there's Bambi and Mariana. I don't have that big of a connection to Mariana, and she's kind of been a target of mine since the rendezvous. So I have to kind of figure it out. I know I'm connected to Bambi. Like, Bambi and I are tight. But can I pull Mariana in enough for her to trust me? So I don't know if I can really work with that pair as a pair, but it's a potential, thought. Because if I take the 2 of them to the end, again, they were in desperate situations, and I, being the lone wolf from the Janet party, connect with them and bring them to the end. Josh and Carl are 2 people that I think are totally 100% with me as a pair. And What worries me is that Josh is a huge game player. The way he took Philip out and the way he manipulated that is really scary for me because I am potentially his next Philip. I'm the person that he might need to take out in order to win this game. So I don't know if I can 100% trust Josh. The problem is that Josh knows that I have half a compass and I know that he has half a compass. And I think we're the only ones with any sort of advantages in the game that we know of. So I have to work with them. There really isn't a lot of options for me to not work with them. Because if I vote Josh out, or if I try to take him out, my potential to get a full compass or to play a compass correctly goes out the window unless I can find someone else with another half of a compass. So I have to work with them for now and figure out a way for Josh to give me his other half compass. I don't think that's going to work, but for now, Josh is kind of safe. Then there's Olivia and Danielle, and I actually feel the most connected with the two of them, but the least comfortable with their connection with me. I don't know if they take me or pull me in as a third. I don't even know if they're 100% working, together as a final two. I've lumped them together simply because they have been on parties together this entire game. So I can only assume that they're probably pretty communicative at least. So the other part of that, right, is that I can't tell David something without telling Haley something. I can't tell Olivia something without pulling in Danielle. So knowing those pairs and knowing kind of how I'm going to finagle that is going to be really important. The other thing too is that I can kind of drop this information and it's believable to everybody. Olivia and Danielle have been on parties together since day one. They're probably working together. David and Haley, everybody already kind of knows is working together. Same thing with Carl and Josh. And I think people are assuming that Mariana and Bambi are working together. So all I have to do is point the pairs at other pairs because nobody is going to want to keep pairs in the game. So their lies part of my rub is that I can't necessarily connect as a third to any particular pair. Because if I do, I know full well the other players are going to be targeting that pair. So ultimately, I have to come up with like a final four that's kind of like one from each group. It's really the only way I'm going to be able to really win this game. I think Bambi over Mariana, for sure. I think Carl over Josh, but the problem is that Josh has the other half compass. So I have to figure out a way. So unfortunately, I have to figure out a way to get Carl out of the game and get Josh to kind of work with me because people turned on Carl. So unfortunately for Carl, I want to work with him over Josh, but if I can take Carl out, that puts Josh kind of in my pocket. So I have to go after Carl. So Bambi, Josh. David, I think, is going to be more desperate than Haley to connect with people. The problem is that the drama that happened between Katie and David, I think, has really pulled David out of the game. I don't know how much passion or how much excitement he has for the game because of the way Katie kind of threw him out during Crossroads. I could see it in him that he's just kind of lost, passion for the game. So Haley might be my better option. Plus, Haley's not the bigger threat. David is. People are targeting David over Haley. But Haley has won a challenge now. So that's the other piece, right? So really, it doesn't matter which one between David and Haley I choose. I think I just have to kind of play the votes and kind of see where people are directing their vote with that pair. But I think either one would be fine to take to an end. Then there's Olivia and Danielle. Potentially, I would like to go to the end game with both of them. So Bambi, Olivia, Danielle, Josh, and David would be a perfect, with me, obviously, would be a perfect final six. So the two people I have to get out of this game are Carl and either David or Haley. Part of me believes that I can't take out David and Haley yet. I think that they're definitely the outsiders in the bigger group. So if I can somehow switch the focus on Carl and Josh as the bigger threats in the game, because we took Katie out. So we took their third out. So really, like, Carl and Josh might be the stronger pair of the people left in the game. Plus, I don't think I can make Danielle and Olivia go against Mariana yet. So that's the other piece too, right? Mariana has to be one of the other people that we take out at some point for my game, because I need Bambi 100% with me. With Mariana still in the game, I'm nervous that Bambi is going to want to pull her along too, and I don't want Mariana in this game. If Mariana gets to the end, I think she wins. So I really don't want Mariana to get much farther. So Carl and Mariana are kind of my top two. Those are the two that I need to target the most. So if I can't get people to go after Mariana, I have to make it seem like Carl and Josh are the bigger threats. That is potentially what my gameplay is at this point. But I think ultimately my best strategy is to try to just lay under the radar, which wasn't the way I wanted to play Rendezvous. I wanted to really make big moves and big, rile things up a bit. But because there's all these pairs, I don't think it makes sense for me to put myself out there in any way. I already kind of rocked the last challenge. Haley beat me, but people are already looking to be like, wow, Mike did really good in that challenge. He hasn't really been rocking challenges, and now suddenly he is. So I definitely want to cool it off a little bit, either win or lay low with the challenges, but really try to figure out how I can protect both David and Haley, but also get out a big threat either in Mariana or Carl. And again, with all these big pairs, I think my best case scenario is just to lay low, let people target each other, just kind of like build that fire, let people kind of be like, yeah, that person's a bigger threat. Oh yeah, that person's a big threat. Because that's the way this game is going to go. It's going to be literally Parageddon. These four pairs of people are just going to come after each other. Nobody's going to look at me because I'm working with at least somebody in those pairs, right? So I feel really good that I'm almost kind of playing the Tiffany strategy from Big Brother, but as a lone player, right? So you've got all these pairs, and I'm going to let them pick each other off, and then hopefully they'll just be singles of different pairs, and I'll be able to kind of skate through to the end and make the big moves at the end. So that's the strategy. I don't know if it's villainous or not. I did want to play a little bit more villainously in this game than I normally would, but at the end of the day, Josh has kind of stepped up into that role, and I'm going to let him play that out, and let everybody kind of eat each other. Let it be cannibalism at its finest, and hopefully I'll be the one sitting at the end.
It was pretty hard for me tonight to vote for Katie. I knew that I had to, but I felt really bad about what happened yesterday, and then especially after the heart-to-heart we had last night after Crossroads. I felt extra bad voting for her again, because I know that she can take things personally, and this is her first game ever, as far as I know. And when I first started playing orgs, I would always be really personally hurt when people would vote for me, and I would take everything personally. But I hope she knows that it really isn't personal at all. And I did try to sort of think, I was telling people, I don't know if I should vote for Katie, and is there another option? And I felt as hard as I tried to think of some other potential plan, when you're at a rendezvous and it's this early and the whole party is unified, you can't really go against that, and you can't go against the majority like that, because it's really good when your party stays unified. And it's really bad if you rock the boat when everyone is dead set on a name, because then you sort of make yourself into a target. I'm really not sure what's going to happen for Sunday's Crossroads, just in terms of who would be targeted. I'm still feeling like my positioning is pretty good, but something happened tonight that made me feel a little nervous. David mentioned that he knew that I played in Season 2 of Animation Org, and I don't know, I assume he knows because he follows the Facebook page, and I guess he must know, if he follows the Facebook page, that Carl played in the season, I think it was season 3, maybe it was season 4. But if he's seen that, then he probably has seen that Carl and I know all the same people from that community, and possibly that we knew each other before this game started. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. Maybe he hasn't realized, because I feel like if he did, he might have made a move sooner to get rid of one of us, but maybe like there wasn't really the opportunity to do that, and now that we're all in a party together again, he's going to do that. So I definitely am thinking maybe of getting rid of David soon, but I do have to like weigh all my options and think about what's best for my game in the long term. And right now, I'm just feeling good about my relationship with Carl, although I am still trying to downplay that and even like throw him under the bus to people, just to make it seem like we're not close at all, and so people like don't get sus of that. And then I still feel good about Danielle. I didn't really get to talk to her today, which was kind of annoying. I feel like I got sucked into a room with Mike and Katie for a really long time, and it just kind of took a lot of time before Crossroads. And it was a conversation that needed to be had, but I didn't really get a chance to talk to some of the people that I also wanted to talk to. And yeah, I'm feeling good about Carl, feeling good about Danielle, and feeling good about Mariana. I was feeling good about Mike, but he's starting to give me a little bit of a sussy vibe, and I'm not really sure what it is. I can't really put my finger on it, but I don't know. He is someone that I also have to look out for in the coming rounds, and I know that he and Bambi are super close, and I know that Danielle really wants that 4-person alliance with Mike and Bambi, but I want to talk to her about that sometime soon, because Mike is definitely super smart and good at challenges, and he could also be someone to target soon. And then I still have my eye on Josh, who I also think is a pretty big threat, like socially, strategically, physically, and could also be taken out soon. But that's harder because Carl is really close with him, and he told me even tonight that like me and Josh are his 2 closest people in the game, and he doesn't want to get rid of Josh anytime soon. But yeah, hopefully I can make a good move sometime in the next couple rounds. I feel like tonight seemed almost too easy. Like, it was really good that it was a really unified vote, and I was almost expecting like a vote for like a totally random vote to come up tonight at Crossroads, but I'm ready for a big move, so we'll see what happens next round.